Hello and welcome to FAD Learning. In this video, we will cover everything about Bootstrap 5.3. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, this video is designed for you. So watch until the end to learn all about Bootstrap. And if you like my content, please subscribe to FAD Learning for more useful videos. So let's dive into the official Bootstrap 5.3 documentation and start learning. I'll open documentation. So here, by definition, Bootstrap 5.3 is the latest version of Bootstrap, which is the most popular HTML, CSS and JavaScript framework for creating responsive mobile-first website. And it is completely free to download and use. So here you can see the latest version of Bootstrap is 5.3. So why developers choose Bootstrap framework? Because Bootstrap is a free front-end framework for faster and easier web development with its pre-built classes, component and responsive design elements. Okay, so first I'll open the Visual Studio Code and we will do the setup. So here I have created one folder with name Complete Bootstrap Tutorial, and the same folder I have opened inside Visual Studio Code. And inside this Visual Studio Code, I am going to install a live server extension. So here I'll click on install. So what is the use of this live server extension? So once you make any changes in the code, after saving it, the browser will auto refresh itself. Then you will be able to see the changes quickly on the browser. So I'll close this. So once we add the sample code, we need to click on this go live. It will help us to run our code on the browser. Okay, so inside this folder, I'll create one file with name index.html. And here we can add manually the HTML template like Shift+1 and enter. You will get the default template for HTML. And after that, how to add Bootstrap in this default template. So for that, I'll go inside the documentation. And here you can see inside introduction, get started with Bootstrap. How to download the Bootstrap or how to use Bootstrap in our project. So if you are working on Angular project, then you can use command npm install bootstrap and you can download the Bootstrap in your project like this. Okay. And also you can add the CDN link for CSS as well as JavaScript. So in our current project, I'll add the CSS link as well as the JavaScript script inside my HTML template. So here you can see the first step is to create a new index.html file in your project root. So that step we have already completed. Now the second step is we need to add the CDN link for CSS and also we need to add the script for JavaScript. So we can manually copy and paste it in our code, or else we can directly click on this copy to clipboard and you can just paste it here. Okay. So first I'll save this file and I'll click on this go live. It will get open on browser with port 5500. Now let's understand this file. What is meant by this doc type HTML? It is called as a document type declaration. Doc type is not a tag or element. It's just an instruction to the browser about the document type. So our document type is HTML. Now the next line is HTML tag. Inside that lang equals to en. In HTML, the lang attribute is used to identify the language of the web page text content. And en means English. Now next, inside head, there is a meta tag. An HTML tag that contains metadata about the web page. And charset is an HTML attribute that defines the character encoding for the browser. And this UTF-8 is a character encoding that can translate almost every language in the world. Next is name viewport. The viewport is used for responsive design. And what is responsive web design? Responsive layouts automatically adjust to any device screen size using a desktop, laptop, tablet or a mobile phones. The meta name viewport is an HTML tag that tells a browser how to display a web page on a device. And what is this width equals to? Device width. It tells the browser to set the page width to the same as the device screen width. And this initial scale equals to 1 means it sets the initial zoom level to 1, which means the page will be displayed at its original size. Okay, after that, this is the title of your page, Bootstrap demo, this one. And next, this is the CDN link for CSS. And after that, our body, inside body, we are going to write the code after this H1 and this script for JavaScript. Okay, I'll format the page with Alt-Shift-F. Now save the changes. So I'll go inside documentation, and here we have seen how to set up the Bootstrap in our application. So here you can see the CSS and JavaScript link. Okay. So now first we will see what are the new features available in Bootstrap 5.3. So the first feature is enabling dark mode. So here you can see once you click on this down arrow, you can see the light mode, dark mode and auto mode. So once you click on this dark mode, you will see the UI is in black. And once you click on the auto mode, it will be in white. So default mode is light mode. So similarly, we can enable this dark mode in our web page as well. So for that, what we need to do, we need to add a class database theme equals to dark or light. So here inside this HTML tag, I'll add database theme equals to dark. And I'll save changes and go to the browser. Here you can see our UI is in black color. And here if you add light, then it will be in white. So this is the first feature, enabling dark mode. Now the next feature is new nav underline. We will see this with an example. So here any example. So I'll take this example and paste it inside body. There is a new nav underline class that we need to add to get a bottom border under the active nav element. So this home is a active nav element. So I'll add here nav underline class and save the changes. Under this home, you can see the underline. So if the link is a active navbar atom, then this underline will remove from this home and will add under this link atom. So I'll show you quickly. Here we can add this nav underline and we will remove this active from home and we'll add it to link. Now save the changes and now you can see so that we can easily understand we are under which navbar atom. Okay, so this is the new feature added in 5.3. So I'll delete this code. Now we will see the new feature, refreshed color. So we will see which color has added inside 5.3. So we can see the color inside customize section. Okay. So what we can customize the color, we can customize the color modes. So inside color, you can see the tertiary, emphasis, border. So we will see one by one. First, we will see the example of this. I'll take this example. I'll copy this and I'll paste it after this H1. Okay. Now I'll save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the example element with utilities. So here you can see the classes P3 means padding pre and the text primary emphasis means this class is for this text. This text is in blue color and this emphasis color has added in Bootstrap 5.3. The emphasis color is used to make text stand out with higher contrast. It's not applicable for background. It's applicable for text only. Okay, like we have added here text primary emphasis. Next is BG primary subtitle. Means you can see here the background is in blue color with this subtitle color. The subtitle color is used to make us easier to customize color modes. Like if you want light blue color at background, then we can use class BG primary subtitle. You can see here. Now next class is border. Border primary subtitles. So similarly, we can use the border within blue color. So here if I change it to danger, you can see the border is in red color. So same, I'll add this danger to this background as well as this emphasis. Then you can see the background is also in red color, border is also in red color, and the text is also in red color. Now the next is rounded 3. The rounded class is used to set the rounded corner size of an element. So for this rounded 3, you can see the rounded corner. If I set to 0, you can see the change. There is no rounded corner. Okay. Here we can add the rounded till option as well. Once I save this, you can see the semicircle corners. So this is all about colors. So here you can see we have seen the tertiary, emphasis, border. Tertiary means what? The tertiary color option is used to make text even lighter. Use the BG option to style backgrounds like BG body tertiary. Okay, so next is success means green, danger means red, warning, info, light, dark. These colors are available in Bootstrap 4 and 5 as well. Okay, so next we will see the color modes. So what are the color modes available? So we have already seen there are dark modes as well as light modes. And one more thing, you can apply this color modes to the drop down as well. So here you can see this is in light mode and this drop down is in dark mode. So for that we need to apply this database theme light or dark to the specified drop down. And also we can customize the color mode. Here I'll copy this and paste it inside styles.css. So for that I'll create new file styles.css and inside that I'll paste this theme for blue. So I'll copy this theme and I'll paste it inside our body. I want my body in blue color. Okay, so the default theme is dark and light, but we can customize this to any color whichever you want. So here you can see we have written the code for blue. So I have applied same theme to this body. Okay, so before that I need to link this style.css file inside this index.html. Now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see our body is in blue color. Okay, so this is how we can customize the color modes. I'll remove this and I'll comment this as well. Okay, so these are the new features added in version 5.3. Next we will see the layouts. Layouts of Bootstrap. So inside this breakpoints, you can see the available breakpoints. Like for small, it is SM, for medium, MD, for large, LG, for extra large, XL, and extra large, XXL, and the respective dimensions. Okay, so the next is container. So here containers are a fundamental building block of Bootstrap that contain, pad and align your content within a given device or viewport. So here you can see the Bootstrap comes with 3 different containers. One is dot container, second is dot container hyphen breakpoint, and third is container fluid. And here you can see the container which sets a max width at each responsive breakpoint, and this container breakpoint which is width 100% until the specified breakpoint. And the last is container fluid which is width 100% at all breakpoints. Now we will see the example. Here I'll uncomment this and I'll wrap it inside another div. Okay, and I'll add class to this div is container. Now you can see I'll open this below and I'll open the browser here. Okay, so that you can see the changes. Now the class is container. So here you can see it has taken fixed width. If I change it with breakpoints, like I'll add breakpoint XLG, extra large. So it will take whole width of this viewport. Once I save, you can see the changes. Now similarly, I'll change it to container fluid. Now I'll save the change. You can see it will also take the width at all breakpoints. So one more time, you can see the difference. This is for container fluid. Now you can see for container extra large. And now you can see the last is with container. So I'll go with container. Okay, so this is all about containers. So here you can see the examples: default container, responsive container, and you can add this with breakpoint like SM, LG, XL, MD, etc. So next we will see grid system. Okay, so now we will understand this grid system with this example. So here you can consider this is the one row and this is second row and this is third row. So inside one row, maximum we can add 12 columns. But we can add as many rows as we want. But for column, in one row, we can add maximum 12 columns. So minimum you can add 1, 2, 3, anything, but maximum is 12. So for example, here, first row, I want 2 columns. First column is bigger than second column. Then we need to distribute the column width. If we gave column 8 to this first column, then remaining column we need to give to second column. That is 12 minus 8, 4. So we need to add 4 to this column. Similarly, if you want to add 3 columns in one row, then you have to specify column 4, column 4, column 4 to each column. So that 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals to 12. Likewise, if you want to distribute 2 equal columns, then you can specify the class column 6, column 6. It means 6 plus 6, 12. Here, inside row, we need to specify the column. Similarly, for this, inside row, we have added 2 columns inside this row. So similarly, we can specify this call MD4, call SM4, call LG4 as per your requirement. So this is how grid system works. We will see in detail while doing the examples. Now next we will move inside content, and here we will see the images. How to make images responsive. So images in Bootstrap are made responsive with class ImageFluid. So this applies max width 100% and height auto to the image. Next we will see the tables in Bootstrap. So if you want this stripped row, then you can use this table stripped class to the table. So what I'll do, I'll copy this first table and paste it inside my body, and I'll apply this table stripped class to this table. Okay. So before that, we will see how this table looks like. This table is looking like this. And now once I add this table strip class, it will change to like this. Okay. So similarly, you can use, there are different types of tables available in Bootstrap. So this is stripped rows and this is for stripped columns. And next is table over. Once you over the row, it will get highlight. Okay, so there are many more tables available. As per requirement, we can use it. So next is figure. So for figure, we need to use class figure, figure image, figure caption. So for caption, we can add the code inside figure caption class. Image, we can add inside figure image class. Like this, here you can see the image is added inside this figure image, image fluid class. And this caption is added inside figure caption class. Okay. So next we will see the forms. So inside Bootstrap forms, there is a form control like input and text area. Here you can see, I'll copy this sample code and paste it after this table. Okay. I'll take here form and inside form I had pasted this. Okay. So now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see inside form there are two fields, email address and email text area. So if you want to reduce the width of this form, then we can add class to this form with width 50%. Okay. So you can see if you want this form in center, then we can add one more class, margin X auto. It means it will shift horizontally center. Okay, I'll add one BR here. Okay, so here you can see for label, they have added form label class, and for input, they have added form control class. Okay, so here we will see the sizing. We can change the size of the form by using class form control LG, form control small sm, like this. Form text. If you want to add text, then you can use class form text. Like if I want to add here after this email address, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see we can add the message with class form text. You can change the message. This message is for password, is not for email address. But I just wanted to show you how to use this form text. Okay. I'll delete this. Now next, so here you can see this form text we can add like this as well. And disabled, if you want to make any field disabled, then you just have to add disabled like this here, disabled. Now you can see the input field is disabled. Okay, read only. If you want to make any field read only, then you can add read only. Then you can't change this email address because this field is read only. So next we will see the select, how to add drop down in our form. So here you can see we need to use form select class for the drop down, and inside that as well you can use the size like MD SM. This is the multiple select example. For that we need to add the multiple inside this select. Okay, for disabled we can use this disabled. So here I'll take one example and we will add this drop down inside our form. Okay, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the drop down. Okay, check and radio button. Here there are different types of checkbox available. We need to use form check for this checkbox. Okay, and the type is checkbox. Okay, similarly we can disable that checkbox, and for radio button also we need to use class form check and the input type is radio, but here we need to pass same name to both the field. Okay, like this, because at a time we can select only one radio button. So similarly we can disable the radio button. Also we can see here there is a switch checkbox. So form check checkbox, and for this switches we need to use one more class, that is form switch. Okay, and also we can use the reverse form check reverse class, and we can put our checkboxes to the opposite side. Okay, so I'll take this example and I'll put it after this select. Save the changes, and here you can see we can select this checkbox. Okay, now next is range. Here we can use the input type is range. Class for this label is form label, and the class for this input is form range, and we can set the range. Okay, so here I'll add range, and you can see here we can change the range. So similarly you can set the mean and max values to this range, like minimum 0, maximum 5, and also you can disable this range. Okay, next we will see the input group. We can group the input fields like this: username, recipient, users, URL, text area, etc. So for that we need to use class input group, and we can add the input fields inside that. Okay, next is floating label. So here once you click on this email ID and password, you can see how it is floating. So we can use this type of form in our project. Okay, so I'll copy this form and I'll paste it below this range, and here you can see how beautiful it is. Okay, so this is called as floating label. For that we need to add class form floating. For this email address we need to add type input type email. Similarly for password. Next is layout. So here you can see the forms layout. Like we can use the form grid here. Inside row we can add 2 columns, and inside that we can specify first name, last name, like this. If you want to specify the gender, for that you can specify 2 genders in one row, like male and female. So for that also you can use the same row column, or we can create our layout as per our requirement. So horizontal form, we can make the horizontal form as well, like we can provide the full width to each field and we can make it horizontal. Okay, so this is all about forms, content, layout and customize. Now we will shift to component and we will see how each and every component works with an example. So for that I'll just delete this forms example as well as this table. Okay, so let's understand the first component, that is accordion. Accordions are used to show and hide related content on the page by collapsing and uncollapsing boxes of content. Okay, so we will see the example. I'll copy this example and I'll paste it in our code. So I'll change this class to container fluid and I'll paste this accordion instead of heading. Now save the changes and go to the browser. I'll add margin 2 and you can see the accordion. So here you can see we have used the database toggle collapse and we have used the class accordion collapse show. That is why this first element collapsed on page load. Okay, if I remove this, you can see we need to collapse this manually. Okay, so next we will see accordion flush. This accordion flush class to remove some borders and rounded corners to render accordions edge to edge with their parent container. So here you can see there is a rounded corner, but if you use accordion flush class, then there is no rounded corner. Okay, I'll just copy this class and I'll add inside our accordion. Now save the changes. Here you can see there is no rounded corner. Okay, so next feature we will see inside accordion, always open. So for always open any atom, we need to omit the database parent attribute on each accordion collapse to make accordion atom stay open when other atom is open. Okay, so I'll delete the database parent attribute from all atoms and here I'll add row database parent for second and database parent for third atom. Okay, now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see this atom 1 is already opened. Now I'll click on second accordion and you can see this first atom will not get closed. Okay, so now I click on the third atom. So you can see it will not affect on atom 1 and atom 2. Atom 1 and atom 2 is still open, but we can manually close this. Okay, so that's it about accordion. So I'll just delete this show. I don't want this open by default. Okay, now let's understand the second component, that is alerts. Alerts are used to provide feedback to user for their actions. Okay, they can be used to display a variety of information such as success, danger, warning information. So for that we need to use class alert and role also alert. And according to the information we can specify the class. If this is the success message, then we can apply the alert success class. If this is the warning message, then we can apply alert warning. And if it is error, we can apply class alert danger. So I'll copy this alert danger class and we will paste it here. I'll just add alert example and below that I'll paste this code. Okay. I'll comment this. And this is accordion example. Okay. Now I'll save these changes and go to the browser. So here you can see the alert with message. And we have specified the class alert danger. That is why it is showing in a red color. Okay. I'll add class margin 2 and we will see what type of alert we can use. So next is live example. Here you can see we can add a button and on click of that button we can use the alert message. Okay, and this is dismiss alert. We will use this alert. Okay. Here is link color. Use the alert link utility class to quickly provide matching colored links within any alert. So if you want to add any link inside your alert, then you can use class alert link. Okay. So on click of that link, it will redirect to the specified page. Okay. Here you can see we need to add anchor and inside anchor we need to specify the class alert link so that this text will get displayed as a link. Now additional content. You can add additional content in your alert message like this. Using this paragraph tag you can add, and for this horizontal line you can use tag HR icons. Also you can add the icons in your alert like this. You can see with the help of SVG you can add the icons. Dismissing alert. This alert is very useful. For that we need to use alert dismissible class and database dismiss equals to alert attribute we need to add to this button. Okay, so I'll copy this and instead of this I'll add the dismissible alert. Okay, go to the browser. Here you can see we can read this alert and after reading we can close this alert. One more time I'll refresh this page. Anytime we can close this alert with the help of cross button. Okay, so this is all about alert. Now we will see what is badge. Badges are a small component that provide additional information or a count. So here you can see badges scale to match the size of an immediate parent element by using relative font size. So the font size of this new badge is same like a parent font size, that is H1. Okay. Next is buttons. Buttons can be used as a part of links or buttons to provide a counter. So here we can add the counter. So we can use this badge functionality for notifications, for messages like for inbox, how many unread messages do we have like this. Okay, so here I'll take this example and I'll paste it inside our code. Okay, here after this accordion I'll paste this badge example. Okay, now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the notification with count 4. Okay, now you can see this is the button of type button and the class is button primary. And the text is notification, and inside span we have added class badge and text BG secondary, means this badge background color is secondary, means gray. Okay. So next we will see the example position. So we can provide the position to this badge. So here you can see we need to add position relative class to the button, and then for this 99 we need to add class position absolute and top 0. Okay, we will apply same for notification and we will see. Okay, so for this button I'll give position relative, and for this badge we will give position absolute and top 0. Okay, now we will see how it looks. You can see it moved up. Okay. If you want this semi-rounded corner, then you can use the class rounded pill. And if you want the background color red, then you can use BG danger. Okay, so I'll apply the same. Now we will see the background of this 4 is red and this 4 is in round shape. Okay, now it looks like a notification. Next we will see background color. Here you can apply the background color like text, BG, primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, info, light and dark. Okay, pill badges. So use rounded pill utility class to make badges more rounded with a larger border radius. So we have already seen rounded pill means it will give more border radius. It will look like a semicircle for both the side, left and right. Okay, so this is how we can use badges in our project. Next is breadcrumbs. So what is breadcrumbs? Breadcrumbs are a navigation system that show the current page location within a structure. Also, they help users navigate through a website or an application by providing links to previous pages. Okay, so we will see this example. I'll copy this and we will paste it on top. Okay, so here I'll add breadcrumbs example. So here I'll take one div with class margin 2 and inside that I'll paste this breadcrumbs. Okay, I'll save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see it looks like this. Okay, so here we need to use ordered list and inside that we have used list. So for ordered list we need to add class breadcrumb and for list we need to add class breadcrumb at. Okay, so now we will see what we can do inside breadcrumbs. So we can use dividers. So with the help of this style we can add the dividers. Here I'll add for the second breadcrumb and now we will see how it looks like. You can see this arrow instead of this slash. Okay, so if you want the same for this breadcrumb, then we can add the same style for this third breadcrumb as well. Now you can see the arrow for these two, or else we can remove this arrow and we can keep the empty space. So it will look like this. Okay, no slash, no arrow. So we can modify this as per the requirement. Also, you can use the embedded SVG icon. So it looks like this. So you have to add this icon instead of arrow or empty. And the next you can see the example of empty space. Okay. So this is how we can use breadcrumbs. Okay. Now next we will see buttons. So for button, we need to use class BTN. And you can see the variants of button like button primary, button secondary, button success, button danger, button warning, button info. We can use the class as per the requirement. So here we can see what we can do with buttons. Okay. So next is button tags. Button classes are designed to be used with a button element. However, you can also use these classes on anchor and input elements. So now we will see how we can use these button classes with anchor, button and input tag. Okay, so I'll copy these three buttons and I'll paste it after this breadcrumbs. Okay, so here I'll write button example. Okay, I'll paste this code inside one div with class margin 2. And I'll change the color. This is primary, this is success and this is danger. Save the changes and go to the browser. So you can see here for this link we have used anchor. For this button we have used button tag and for this input we have used input tag. Okay. So here we need to remember While using anchor, we need to specify role button. While using button, we need to add a type submit. And for input, we need to specify the type as a button. Okay. The next is outline buttons. So if you don't want the background color, but you want the outline, then you can use class button outline primary, button outline secondary like this. So here I'll use button outline primary for this link, button outline success for this button, and button outline danger for this input. Now I'll save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see instead of background color, outline has added. Okay. So next we will see sizes. If you want the button in large size, then you can specify the button LG class. And if you want in small size, then you can use class button SM. So we can specify the breakpoint with button. And also you can customize the button as per the requirement. For that we need to write the CSS. Now next is disable state. How we can disable the button? By adding this disabled attribute, we can disable that button. Okay. So next is block buttons. If you want to give full width to the button, then you can use class dgrid and you can specify the gap too. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it below this button. Okay, and I'll give margin 2. Okay. So here you can see these two buttons are taking full width of the viewport. Okay. If I remove this gap, it will remove the gap between these two buttons. Okay. And with the help of this dgrid, it is taking full width. If I remove this, you can see the normal buttons. Okay. So next, if you want to give half width to the button, then you can apply class column 6. Okay. So I'll apply this column 6 to our button and you can see the buttons are taking half width of this viewport. And if you want to shift this button to center, then we can apply this class margin horizontal auto, means MX auto. You can see now these two buttons are in center. So here if you want to shift your buttons to the right, then you can apply class justify content MD end. And next is toggle state. So for toggle state, we need to add a database toggle button to toggle the button active state. Okay. So here you can see gap 1 means the gap between these two buttons. And this the inline flex means these three buttons are inline. You can see toggle button, active toggle button and disabled toggle button. So for toggle, we need to add attribute database toggle equals to button. And the second row buttons are also same. Only the difference is they have added the background color like button primary for all these three toggle buttons. Okay. So that's it about buttons. Next we will see button groups, how we can group the button. So for that we need to use class button group. So here you can see the example class button group and role equals to group. And inside that we need to add the buttons like left, middle, right. And here you can see the background BG primary, primary, primary. But you can add any background as you want. Like this, here you can see mixed styles. Here they have used button group only and role is group. After that they have added 3 buttons left, middle, right, and the class is button danger, button warning, button success. That's it. So similarly we can combine the outlined buttons like this. For that, instead of button primary, button danger, button success, we need to use class button outline primary, button outline success, button outline danger. We can group checkbox and radio button as well. So here you can see the class is button group and role is group. But inside that we need to add an input type as a checkbox and the class is button check. And after that we can add the label with class button outline primary, button outline secondary, like this. So this is for checkbox and this is for radio button. For radio button we need to add the input type as a radio and we need to specify the same name to all radio buttons. Next is button toolbar. For this button toolbar, we need to use class button toolbar and role is toolbar. Inside that, we can add the group like button group and role is group. That's it. So sizing. For sizing, we can add the breakpoints like button group LG, button group SM like this. And inside that, we can add the normal buttons with outline or with background color. Nesting. We can place button group within another button group. Like here you can see this button group is for 1 and 2. Inside that we can use the button group for this drop down. Okay. Next is vertical variations. So here if you want to display group of buttons vertically, then you can use class button group vertical and role is group and we can add inside that button group vertical class. So here you can add drop down as well inside button group vertical and you can add the drop down class like drop start, drop end, drop down, drop up like this. Okay, so that it will open the drop down like for this it is down and for this it is left. For this the drop down will open at right and for this the drop down will open up. Okay, so this is how we can group the buttons in Bootstrap. Next is cards. Cards is a flexible and extensible content container. It includes option for headers and footers, a wide variety of content. So in Bootstrap, there are n number of cards available. So here you can see we can add any image and after that we can add the short title about that image and the description. And after that if you have any link then you can add the link or else you can add the button and on click of that button we can redirect to the another page. So here you can see without image also we can add the cards with navigations. Here you can see inside this card we can use the navigations as well as buttons. You can use full width cards. You can use this horizontal card. Background color, we can change the background color of cards as well. Also we can use the outline card. Here you can see we can use header and footer inside cards. For that we need to use class card header, card footer and inside that header and footer we need to add body and for that body we can use class card body. Card layout. Here you can use these 3 cards in one row. Like this you can add the last updated 3 minutes ago in the footer of card. So there are many types of cards available in Bootstrap. So I'll take one card from here and we will see how it looks like. So I'll take this one and I'll paste it here. Here I'll add cards example. After that I'll paste this card with class margin 2. Okay, here you can see we need to add the image. I'll add quickly image. For that I'll go on Splash website and I'll search nature images. From here I'll copy the image address and I'll paste it inside my SRC, cards SRC. Okay, copy image address and second SRC and third image for third SRC. Okay, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the images. Okay, and if you want to add the button, you can add the button as well. So here you can see. So after this paragraph, we can add button with class btn primary, and the button name is more details. Okay, so here instead of button, we can use anchor, and here I'll add href, and inside this href I'll copy this link and paste it inside href. Okay, so I'll copy this anchor and paste inside remaining two cards. Okay, now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see we have added the buttons. So here once we click on this more details page, it will redirect us to Unsplash website. Okay, so this is how we can use cards in our project. Next we will see Carousel. Carousel is a JavaScript plugin that allows users to create slideshow of content such as images or text. Here you can see the example of basic carousel. Here we need to add a class carousel slide, and inside that we need to add a class carousel inner, and for each and every carousel we need to add a class carousel atom. Okay, so here we can use carousel with indicators like this. So once you click on this indicator, the slide will get changed. And next we can use with captions, like we can add the image here, and we can give the title of that image, and we can provide the short description of that image. Next we can use class carousel fade for the fade transition. So what I'll do, I'll copy this captions carousel and I'll paste it after this container fluid carousel example. Here I'll paste the carousel example, and here I'll give the class margin 2. For that we need to add the images. I'll search water images and I'll paste that images inside our carousel. Okay, I'll take this, copy image address for first carousel. For second slide, I'll take another image, copy image address, and here I'll paste this. And for third slide, I'll take different image, copy image address, and paste it here. Okay, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the carousel with captions. First slide, once I click on this next indicator, you can see the second slide label, and for third indicator it is third slide label. We can change slide from this indicator as well as this next and previous button. Next is crossfade. So with the help of this carousel fade, we can change the transition of this slide. Okay, right now the transition is like this. Now we will change this by adding class carousel fade. Now you can see the fade transition once I click on this button. Okay, next button and previous button. This is how we can change the fade transition. Next is autoplay carousel. So for autoplay carousel, we need to add database write carousel attribute. Here you can see. I'll refresh the page. Now you can see. Okay. So with the help of database write, we don't need to click on the next and previous button. Next feature is individual interval. So we can add the database interval and we can specify the time to each atom. Here I'll add a database interval for first slide with time 1000, and I'll add the same time for second and third slide as well. It means after 1 second slide will get changed. You can see 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay. So this is how we can add the interval. Also, we can reduce the height of this carousel by adding the style. Okay, so I'll add this style here to reduce the height. I'll add class max height 550 pixel. Okay, now save the changes. So you can see we have reduced the height of this carousel. Okay, next component we will see close button. We can use close button for dismissing content like models and alert. So you can see here we need to use class button close for this close button. So I'll copy this and I'll paste it after this batch. Okay, close button example. Okay, so I'll add this inside div with class m2. Save the changes and go to the browser. Here we will see this close button here. So what we did, we have just added one button with class button close and type is button. And here you can see the close button. So we can add the disabled class to this close button and we can disable this button. Next is dark variant. If you want the background dark, then we can apply the color mode like database theme equals to dark. Okay, so next we will see the collapse. Collapse JavaScript plugin is used to show and hide content. So here you can see once I click on this click with href, the respective content will get show, and if I again click back to this link with href button, the content will get hide. Similarly for this button with database target. Okay, so here we need to use database toggle collapse to hide and show the content, and rest is same button primary href collapse. But with anchor we need to add the role button, and for button we don't need to add role, we need to add type button. Okay, here is the horizontal collapse. So we need to add class collapse horizontal so that it will show and hide the content horizontally. So for that we need to use collapse horizontal class for this content. Okay, next is multiple toggles and targets. So here toggle first element, toggle second element and toggle both elements. I'll copy this example and paste inside our code. Here collapse example div m2. Inside that I'll paste our code. Okay, so here you can see we have added 3 buttons. One button is with anchor and rest 2 buttons with button tag. But for collapse we need to use this database toggle equals to collapse. And next what we need to see what is the area controls. For this anchor first toggle area control name is multi-collapse example 1. So once you click on this button, it will redirect to the multi-collapse example 1 and it will display this content. Okay, and once you click on the second toggle, again it will check the multi-collapse example 2 and it will open the multi-collapse example 2 content. And once we click on this third button, that is toggle both element, then that you can see the area controls multi-column example 1 as well as multi-column example. So once we click on this button, both content will get open. So I'll save these changes and go to the browser. Here you can see once I click on this toggle, the first content will get open. Once I click on this second toggle, second content will get open. I'll hide both the content and you can see once I click on this toggle both element, then both content will get open like this. Okay, this is how we can show and hide the content on click of button or anchor. Next is dropdown. So for dropdown we need to use dropdown class, and for button we need to use dropdown toggle. and we need to provide the attribute database toggle equals to dropdown to that button. And after that, we need to add the UL unordered list and list for dropdown menu and dropdown atom. Okay, so this is the simple dropdown. We can use anchor instead of button. But if you are using anchor, we need to specify the role of that anchor is button and rest is same. And here you can see we can use the dropdown with background color. For that we need to use button danger, button primary, button success, like that. Okay, next feature is sizing. So we can add the size like button LG, button SM for the dropdown button. And dark dropdown. So for dark dropdown, we need to add the class dropdown menu dark. Here you can see the menu is in dark color. And also you can provide the database theme equals to dark. Next is you can use dropdown inside Navbar. So for that we need to add the code inside Nav. That's it. And next is direction. If you want to display the dropdown atom in center, then you can specify the class dropdown center like this. So here you can see the dropdown center class we need to apply for the main div, and then we can add the button and then dropdown menu. So similarly for drop up, so once we click on this dropdown, you can see dropdown atom will get open up. Okay, so for that here you can see we need to use drop up class to the main div. So the next direction is drop up center. So if you want the menu drop up with center, then you can use class drop up center as well as drop up. Okay, the next direction is drop end. If you want to open the drop down at end, then you can use class drop end like this. Okay, here you can see the drop end class. Similarly for drop start. Okay. Also we can active the drop down atom with active class, and we can disable the drop down atom with disabled class. Okay, so this is how we can use the drop down in Bootstrap. Okay, next component is list group. List groups are a flexible and powerful component for displaying a series of content. Okay, so here if you want to display the list, then you can use class list group, and inside that you can add your list group items. Similarly, you can active the list group atom with active class. We can disable the list group atom with disabled class. And next feature of list group is links and buttons. So here we can use anchor and button to create list groups. Here you can see they have used anchor to create this list group, but for that they have used list group class for the main div, and for this anchor they have used list group item and list group item action. And here you can see this example is with button, not with anchor. Next is flush. We need to add list group flush to remove the borders and rounded corners. Okay, here you can see the list group and list group flush. That's it. Next is numbered. We can add number inside the list group with class list group numbered. And we can display the list with numbers. So for that we need to write list inside order list. So in this example, you can see I'll copy this example and paste after this collapse list group example. Here you can see they have used ordered list first, and inside that they have used list. And inside list they have used the badge to specify the number. Okay, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see this is the list 1, 2, 3 with badges. Next is we can create the horizontal list as well. And the last is we can add the variant to the list. Like for every list we can add the class like list group atom primary, list group atom secondary, success, danger. Like this, we can add the class for each list. Similarly, we can use this as a link or buttons. So with anchor we can use, or as well as with buttons we can use. With badges, we have already seen this example. We just need to add span with badge class inside every list. Okay, so this is how we can create the list groups in Bootstrap. Next component is model. So we can use model plugin to add dialogues to your site for light boxes. So here you can see we can add this model or dialog box. Here you can see the demo. On click of this button, dialog box will get open. Okay. So I'll copy this code and I'll paste it after this list group. Model example. Save with class margin 2, and inside that I'll paste. Okay. Alt Shift F, format the document. I'll delete this model and this button trigger model. Okay, because we have already added comment for model example. So here in this example, you can see we need to add the database toggle attribute equals to model, and also we need to give this database target value like example model, and the same value we need to pass as a ID to the model, so that once we click on this launch demo model button, this respective ID model will get open. Okay, now I'll open the browser and now we'll see the changes. Here I'll click on this launch demo model and you can see the model or dialog box. But if I click outside this model, then this model is closing. And if you don't want this behavior, then we need to add this database backdrop equals to static to our model. Now I'll save the changes and again I'll click on the launch demo model and I'll click outside this dialog box. You can see the model is not closing. Either we need to click on this cross button or this close button in order to close this dialog box. Okay. Next is scrolling long content. So here you can see if we have a long content, then we can add this scroll to our model with the help of model dialog scrollable class. Okay. Next is vertically center. If you want your dialog box vertically center, then we can add this model dialog center class to our model. Here we need to add the centered class to this model. And now we can see on click of this launch demo model, dialog box is in center. Next is tooltip and popover. So here you can see the popover on click of this button and tooltip on this link. So we can add this with the help of database toggle popover and database toggle tooltip attribute. Also, we can toggle between models, but multiple models cannot be open at the same time. So here is the example. Once we click on this open first model, then one model will get open. And here you can see one more button. On click of this open second model, one more model will get open. And here you can see the button back to the first model. Once we click on this, we will go back to first model. But we cannot open multiple model at a time. We can toggle between models. Okay. Like this. For that, here you can see this is the example model toggle and this is the example model toggle 2. First you click on this button, and once you click on this button, database target of this button is example model toggle, and this is the first model. And the next database target of this button is this example model toggle 2. So once you click on this button, it will redirect to the example model toggle 2 model. Again, here you can see the back to first button and it will redirect to the example model toggle. So this is how we can toggle between models. Okay. The next component is Navbar. Bootstrap Navbar is a responsive navigation header that can be used to add branding, navigation, and more to a website. Okay, so here I'll take this first example and I'll add it inside our code. Here I'll add the navbar example. div.m2, and inside that I have added the navbar. Save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the navbar. Okay, I'll change the background color to dark. Okay, I need to change the text color as well. So for that, navbar dark, and you can see the beautiful navbar. Okay, so here you can see we have used the navbar class to this nav, and after that for brand we need to use navbar brand class, and after that we can add the UL and list with nav atom and navbar nav class. Okay, so we'll see what else we can do with navbar. So here you can see for brand we need to add navbar brand class. Also we can add the image instead of brand. So for that I'll copy this image and paste it inside our anchor. So instead of navbar I'll add image, and instead of this image I'll paste the Bootstrap logo image. So for that I'll search Bootstrap logo inside image. I'll copy any Bootstrap image. So I'll copy this one, copy image address, and I'll paste inside src. Okay. Now I'll save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the Bootstrap logo. Or also we can add the text with image. So here I'll add Bootstrap with image, and here you can see the text with logo. There is a navbar. We can disable the navbar items. We can add the dropdowns inside our navbar. We can add the forms in our navbar. Here search and search button. In this example we have already added the form. Okay, so here we can change the background color of navbar color schema like dark, light, blue, primary. We can add as per our requirement. Here you can see the database theme dark. And next what we can do inside navbar, yeah, we can use the class fixed top and fixed bottom to the navbar. So here you can see if I specify the class fixed bottom to this navbar, now we'll see what will happen. Now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see our navbar is at bottom. And if I write here instead of bottom, I'll write here top. You can see the navbar at top. So this is how we can change the position of navbar. We can use this fixed top, fixed bottom for our header and footer. And also we can use the class sticky top, sticky bottom to the navbar. Okay, so next component we will see navs and tabs. So here inside navs and tabs we can use the class nav for the UL and nav atom for the list. And also here we can use class justify content center if you want to shift your atom to the center. Similarly, we can use class justify content end, and next is vertical. If you want to place your atom vertical, then you can use class flex column. And what about tabs? So here we can use nav tabs class to generate tabbed interface. You can see for UL they have used nav tabs, and for LI nav atom. For pills, you can use the nav pills class for this button atom. It will look like a button with the help of nav pills class. And also you can use the underline that we have already seen. this is the new feature in Bootstrap 5.3. We can use the nav underline class to the active atom. Okay, so this is how we can use nav and tabs. So next component we will see off canvas. The off canvas component is a sidebar that can be hidden and then displayed when triggered by a user action. So we will see the example of canvas component. Here I'll copy this example and I'll paste it after the carousel of canvas example. Div with class margin 2, and inside that I'll paste our code. Okay. Control Shift F, format the document, and now I'll save the changes and go to the browser. You can see the off canvas. So what we have used a canvas class and we have used a canvas start class. Why? Because we want this off canvas at the start of this viewport. And if I write here end instead of start, you can see our canvas is at right side of the viewport. And we need to use show and hide. If you don't want to show, then you can use hide class. You will not be able to see the canvas on page load. Okay. So after that, this canvas is written inside the off canvas header class, and this content is written inside the off canvas body class. So for this title, we need to use class off canvas title, and after that we have used one close button. For that we need to use button close class, and this button close class look like this cross button. Okay, I'll keep this off canvas at left of the viewport, and then we will see the next feature of off canvas, that is live demo. Here you can see on click of this, you can see the canvas, and this button is used with anchor tag and this button is used with button. And what is the difference between anchor and button? In order to use anchor, we need to provide the role equals to button, and in order to use button, we need to provide the type equals to button. And this database toggle off canvas is same for anchor as well as button. And here you can see on click of this button, you can use the drop down, and for that drop down we can use drop down class, and for menu drop down menu, and for item we can use drop down item. Next is body scrolling. You can see here with this off canvas we cannot scroll our web page. So in order to scroll the viewport, we need to use attribute database scroll equals to true. So here I'll use this attribute database scroll equals to true. Now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see I am pressing the down arrow and I am able to scroll the page. Or else you can use the scroll bar in order to scroll the web page. Okay, next feature we will see scrolling and backdrop. Right now, if we click outside this canvas is going to close. But if we don't want this kind of behavior, then we can use the attribute database backdrop equals to false. So here I'll use database backdrop equals to false. Save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see I am clicking outside this off canvas, but this off canvas is not going to close. In order to close this canvas, we need to click on this cross button. Next is static backdrop. When backdrop is set to static, the off canvas will not close when clicking outside of it. So we can write static instead of false. With static, you can see the same behavior. I am clicking outside the off canvas, but this off canvas is not getting closed, and once I click on this cross button, canvas will get closed. Yeah. Next feature is dark off canvas. So if you want the off canvas in dark color, then we have to use XBG dark class to the off canvas. Here I'll add text BG dark. Save the changes and go to the browser. You can see your off canvas is in dark color. But for this cross button, we need to use class button close white, btn close white. Now you can see the button is in white color. Okay, this is the dark off canvas. Next is responsive. If you want to resize your browser to show the responsive off canvas toggle, then you can use off canvas LG, off canvas SM. It means we can use the breakpoints after off canvas. Placement. We can use placement like off canvas start, off canvas end. I'll show you off canvas top and off canvas bottom. So here you can see this is the top behavior. Now I'll change it to bottom. And you can see our off canvas is at bottom. So this is all about the off canvas. Now we will see the next component, that is pagination. Pagination is a feature that displayed a limited number of results on each page of a website. So here I'll take this example and I'll paste inside my code. This is the pagination example. I'll take div with class margin 2 and inside that I'll paste the pagination code. Now save the changes and go to the browser. I'll change the position of this off canvas or else I'll hide this. Okay. Now you can see the pagination, previous and next button with page numbers 1, 2, 3. So here you can see for UL we need to use class pagination. For LI we need to use class page item, and for anchor we need to use class page link. Next we will see what we can do with pagination, working with icons. So instead of previous and next button we can use the icons. So I'll copy this icon and I'll paste it instead of this previous and next. Okay, so this is for previous and now this icon is for next. I'll shift F, format the document, and now I'll save the changes and go to the browser. You can see the arrow or icon. This is for previous and this button is for next. And what we need to do for this icon, we need to write this for the previous icon and we need to write this for the next icon. That's it. So next is disabled and active states. In order to disable this previous button, we need to add a class disabled to that particular li. And in order to active the page, we need to add a class active to that particular li. Next is sizing. We can use pagination LG, pagination SM for large and small size. Alignment. If you want your pagination in center, then we can use class justify content center. Save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see our pagination is in center. So same for end, we can use end instead of center. Here you can see our pagination at end. So this is how we can change the alignment of our pagination. Next component is placeholder. So here you can see placeholders can be used to enhance the experience of your application. And here is the example. We can add placeholder with class placeholder and we can specify the width of the column. Okay, how it works we will see here. This is the paragraph and inside that there is a span, and here you can see we need to add class placeholder and column 6. That is why you can see this placeholder in gray color with width 50%. 50% means column 6. And next example you can see we can provide the color like button primary, disabled, placeholder, column 4. Here you can see the width. Either we can provide column 6 or we can provide width 75 or we can provide style equals to width 25%. So we can provide the width with these three ways. I'll copy this and paste it inside my code. Placeholders example. And after that, I'll add one div with class margin 2. Inside that, I had pasted this. Okay, you can see this is column 6, this is 75% width and this is 25% width. So here instead of column 6, I'll provide width 50% and you can see the same result. And here instead of 75, I'll provide column 9 and you can see the same result. Or else you can provide column 12. In that case, it will take 100% width. Okay, so we can change the width as per our requirement. Also, we can add the colors to that placeholder like BG primary, secondary, success, danger, etc. Sizing, we can add the breakpoints like LG, SM, access to that placeholder. Animation, in animation, we can use class placeholder glow for this kind of animation and placeholder wave for this kind of animation. I'll copy this and I'll paste it instead of these three. And I'll change the width. This is for 6 and this is for 12. Now you can see for this animation we need to use class placeholder glow and for this animation we need to use class placeholder wave. This is all about the placeholders. Next component we will see popovers. The popovers component is similar to tooltips. It is a pop-up box that appears when the user clicks on an element. But the difference is that the popover can contain much more content. So here is the example. You can see once I click on this button, you can see the popover. So for this header, we need to use attribute databs title, and for this content, we need to use attribute databs content. And for this popover, we need to use attribute databs toggle equals to popover. That's it. Next is there are 4 directions like top, right, bottom, left. Like once I click on this popover on top, you can see the popover on top. In the second case, the popover is on the right direction. And for this popover on bottom, you can see the popover on bottom. And this is for left. So for this, we need to use attribute databs placeholder equals to top, right, bottom, left. And we can create the custom popover as well. For that, we need to set a custom class with databs custom class equals to custom popover. Dismiss on next click. Like if I click on this dismiss popover, now we can see the popover, and if I click anywhere on the web page, this popover will get hide. Okay, like this. It means dismiss popover on the user next click on the element other than the toggle element. For that, we need to use attribute databs trigger equals to focus. Next, we can disable the button, but if we over the disable button, we can see the popover. For that, we need to use disabled to that particular button. Okay, so this is all about popovers. Now we will see next component is progress. The progress component is a responsive indicator that shows the progress of a task. It can be used to show a user how far along they are in a process. So here is the example. You can see we can add the progress with class progress, and we need to provide the role equals to progress bar. Okay, here you can see we can set the value with value now equals to 0. 0 means you can see there is no progress. After that 25, the 25% progress. After that 50, 75 and 100. Okay, if I copy this and if I paste it in our code, progress example, save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the progress. I can give class margin bottom 2 and paste. Now you can see this. I'll comment this and you can see the progress. Okay. If we change here 40%, then you can see it is 40%. So as per our requirement, we can change this progress bar. For this progress bar, we need to use class progress bar and we need to use role equals to progress bar and we need to add the area value now equals to 0, or we need to provide the minimum and maximum area value. That is, minimum is 0 and maximum is 100. Okay, so this is the example of progress. Next is width. So here you can see for the width we need to use class progress bar and as per our requirement we can add the width like 75, 50, 100, 25, 0 like that. Okay, next is height. For height we need to provide the style like height equals to 1 pixel and height equals to 20 pixel. This 20 pixel for second progress bar and this 1 pixel for this first progress bar. And they have given the value 25, 25 for both progress. Next is label. We can add the label like this 25% so that user can understand easily. This is for 0%. Then we will not provide anything. For this we can provide the 40%. For this we can provide 70%. For this 75%. Like this. Here you can see the progress. Next is background color. We can provide the background color as well with class bg success, bg info, bg warning, bg danger, etc. Also we can provide the background color as well as this label 25%, 50%, 100% like that. Multiple bars. You can see here we can add the multiple bars. For that we need to wrap all the bars inside progress stack class. Here you can see progress stack. Inside that they have added 3 progress bar and you can see the color bg success, bg info. Next is strip. So here you can apply the class progress bar strip in order to use this strip progress bar. Okay, animation strip. For animation strips, we need to use class progress bar animated. Okay, that's it for this progress component. Next, we will see Scrollspy. The Scrollspy automatically update Bootstrap navigation or a list group components based on a scroll position to indicate which link is currently active in the viewport. Here is the example. You can see right now this first item is active. Why? Because we are in first heading content. And once I scroll down, you can see the second item will get active, right? Like this. And if I again scroll down, you can see the next item will get active, that is drop down like this. Okay. So for that, here is the example. This is the Navbar. We have already seen how to implement the Navbar. So for that, we need to use class Navbar, Navbar brand, nav item, nav link, etc. And for this drop down, we can use the drop down and drop down toggle class. And for this UL, we can use drop down menu. And for this LI, we can use drop down item. But now we can see here for scroll, we need to use attribute databs py equals to scroll, and here for every heading we need to use a different ID, and that ID we need to provide to that particular nav item with href like this. For this first item, you can see the href equals to Scrollspy heading 1, and the same ID we need to give to this first heading. Similarly for second heading and third heading. We can use Scrollspy for the nested navigation as well. Here you can see we are inside item 1. Once I scroll down, you can see we are inside item 1 and 1, and then you can see item 1 and 2, and then item 2 like this. So this section is for navigation and the below section is for content. So here you can see the database py equals to scroll, and then you can see the ID item 1 and 1, item 1 and 2, and the same they have gave for the href. Next is list group. We can list down the groups and we can scroll on top of that group. So for that we need to use class list group, and inside that list group we can add the list group item 1, 2, 3. And next for content we need to use this database py equals to scroll, and for this content we need to use ID, and the same ID we need to provide to the href of Navbar item. So this is how we can use the Scrollspy in Bootstrap. Now we will see the next component, that is spinner. Spinners are a visual indicators that show a page or a component is loading. So here you can see for spinner we need to use class spinner border and role equals to status, and we can provide the text, but for that text we need to add a class visually hidden. Also we can use the spinner in different color like primary, secondary. So I'll take this and I'll paste it in my code, spinner example. And now you can see the spinner in primary and secondary color. So we can change it to primary and success. Okay, you can see two spinners. Okay, we can use the different type of spinner, that is growing spinner. For growing spinner, we need to use class spinner grow. Here, GROW. Okay. So for this spinner, we have used a class spinner border, and for this spinner, we have used a class spinner grow. And also we can use the color with spinner grow. And next is alignment. We can provide the margin equals to 5, and we can change the placement. For that we need to use class this display flex justify content center. Okay, I'll add class display flex and justify content center, then you can see both spinner in center. Similarly we can use end, and if you want the text at the starting and spinner at the ending, then you have to write text with role equals to status, and then you can add the spinner with class ms auto, means margin start auto. And next we can use the class with float like float end, float start. For that we need to use class clear fix, and then we can use float end, float start like this. Text align, we can use class text center instead of justify content center. Okay, sizing, we can use the breakpoints, like if you want large spinner then you can use class spinner border LG, and if you want spinner in small size then you can use class spinner border SM. So this is for large and this is for small. Next is button. If you want spinner inside button, then you can add the spinner border and this text inside button, and you can disable that button using disabled attribute. Okay, so this is how we can use spinner in Bootstrap. Next, we will see the toast component. A toast notification is a user interface element that typically appears as a small pop-up with text, an image, or a button. They are suitable for conveying information that doesn't demand much user attention. So here we can see this first example. I'll copy this example and we will paste it after the spinner. Post example div with margin 2. I'll save the changes and go to the browser. Here we need to add class show, and now you can see the toast. Okay, for that toast we need to use class toast, and after that for this header we need to use class toast header, and for the body we need to use class toast body, and inside that we can add the content as per the requirement. Okay, next here is the live example. You can see once I click on this show live toast, you can see the toast is opening at bottom end. So for that we need to provide the class position fixed bottom 0 and end 0. So here I'll add class. Now save the changes and go to the browser. Here you can see the toast at bottom. Okay, and I can close this toast on click of this cross button. Next is stacking. You can stack toast by wrapping them in a toast container, which will vertically add some space. So here you can see we need to add these two toast inside the toast container, and you can see the space between these two containers, and this will place vertically. Custom content. We can add the custom content inside this toast with the help of toast body class. And also we can add the buttons like additional controls inside the toast. Color schema, we can add the color like text BG primary, text BG secondary, and also you can use class align item center. So here you can see the placement. Once I click on this middle left, then you can see the toast in middle left. If you click on the middle right, then you can see the toast at right. So for that we need to use class position fixed middle equals to 0 and equals to 0. If you want the toaster in middle start, then you can give class middle equals to 0, start equals to 0. So like that we can change the placement of a toaster. Okay, so this is how we can use toast. And the last component is tooltips. A tooltips is a small pop-up that appears when user places the mouse pointer over an element such as link or button to provide hint or information about the element being hovered. Here you can see the example tooltip on links. Once I hover this inline link, you can see the default tooltip. Similarly, for this real text, another tooltip. This is the third tooltip, like another one here too. And the last is the last tip. So here you can see for the tooltip we need to use attribute databs toggle equals to tooltip, and for the default tooltip text we need to use attribute databs title equals to default tooltip. Similarly, you can see for this real text they have used databs title another tooltip, and for tooltip they have used databs toggle equals to tooltip inside this anchor. For this link, we need to use anchor tag. Also, you can see for the last tooltip, that is your own, they have used the databs title attribute as well as databs toggle attribute. Also, we can create the custom tooltip as well, like this. For that, we need to use attribute databs custom class equals to custom tooltip, like popovers. Next is direction. So here also we can give the direction as per the requirement. For that we need to use the attribute databs placement equals to top, right, left, bottom. Okay, so this is how we can use the tooltips in Bootstrap. Okay, so that is all about the Bootstrap components. In this video, I am covering Bootstrap from A to Z so that you can learn everything you need to know. So please show your support by liking, commenting and subscribing to FAD Learning. So here you can see after component inside helpers, we have seen this clear fix, color, colored link before in the component. So I'm not going to repeat this. And if you want to learn more about the utilities, like if you want to learn all the classes related to borders, then you can go inside this border and you can see the border, border top, border end, border bottom, all the Bootstrap classes related to borders. Similarly for colors, here you can see we have seen most of the colors. Also you can find the remaining colors inside this color section. If you want to know about the spacing, then you can go inside the spacing, and here you can see the classes related to spacing like M for margin, P for padding, T for top, bottom, S for start, E for end, X for horizontal space, Y for vertical space, and we can add the spacing from 0 to 5 like this. If you want to use all the classes related to this utility and helpers, then you can find that inside this documentation. So far, we have now covered all the components in Bootstrap 5.3, and now you should have a good understanding of how to work with Bootstrap. So here you have seen I didn't write any code from scratch. Instead, I demonstrated how to use copy paste with minor modifications to implement Bootstrap components. Simply copy the sample template from the Bootstrap documentation and paste it into your code, and then customize the text as per requirement. Also, you don't need to memorize all the Bootstrap classes, as you can always refer to the Bootstrap documentation for reference. Alternatively, once you have built 2 to 3 websites using Bootstrap, you will soon become comfortable with the most frequently used classes and be able to recall them easily. Okay, so this is all about the Bootstrap 5.3. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. Now it's your turn to practice and enhance your coding skill. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. Thank you. Bye bye.